BBC Radio Leicester. Hello, good afternoon, 6 minutes past 12. Summaya here, great to be with you. I'm with you till 2. Now, studies have shown that fasting can restore the immune system. It can help fight off infection, which is why intermittent fasting has become really popular over the last few years. But for Muslims who are fasting for over 12 hours during the day even, and getting up in the middle of the night, which is really rather difficult, believe me, when your dad comes into your room at 3 o'clock in the morning and is like, Summaya, wake up, you need to eat something because you need to fast for the rest of the day. It's quite hard. And there is that added challenge of keeping your immune system at your best as well, especially during COVID-19, of course. So how can we take care of our bodies and our health on minimum fuel of food? What sort of diet is best for anyone who is fasting, whether that be for health, faith or diet reasons? Well, thankfully, Dr Rizwhan Suleman, the founder of ICAHT, Centre of Integrative Medicine, can answer all. Hello, how are you doing? Welcome to the programme.
Hello, I'm good, thank you, and thank you for having me on.
That's okay, it's a pleasure. So what are your tips when it comes to eating well and staying healthy when you're fasting?
Well, the first one is really just to prepare and make sure that you are planning out what you're going to be eating and opening your fast with. I think that's an important thing. I think it's very easy for us to be guilty of, the time for opening your fast comes and then you just pig out on whatever's in front of you, whether that's healthy or not, samosas, all the other stuff, the deal. And then you're in a food coma and you can't get up after. So pacing yourself is quite important, and planning. Obviously, everyone has different dietary needs, so it's difficult to say, okay, this is healthy for everyone. But if you are, a lot of people don't realize the benefits of fasting from the physical perspective. Obviously, we see it as a spiritual thing, but it's a really good time that you can use to alter your health habits, right? And there's physical benefits to it as well. So if you're someone who's looking to maybe cut down on your weight a little bit, surprisingly, a lot of people actually put on weight during Ramadan. I don't know if you know that or not, but a lot of people do, because I think they miss the point and they often catch up on the meals which they missed throughout the day. And they have them all in one go, which is really besides the point, right? You're supposed to be, thinking of people who have less and things like that as well. Self-control and discipline, we do that throughout the day. And then when it comes to the opening the fast, all of that discipline goes out the window and we chuck whatever is in front of us into our bellies.
Which is understandable, It's quite difficult when you're there and you're sat. So my family will sit on the floor. Yeah. And you'll have your dates and you'll have your glass of water, for example, and then you'll maybe have some fruit, and then you might have a few samosas and some spring rolls and a few, fried foods essentially. And you say, it's difficult not to just fill up on that before you then pray and then try and have dinner, but you kind of don't have the space for dinner because you've just eaten a load of samosas,
Exactly. So yeah, having a plan, having a game plan, I think before Ramadan is actually a good idea. Making sure that you avoid, like in our house, we don't have any of the fried foods. We don't get prepared. I know a lot of people prepare like a week before, just making samosas and putting them in the freezer. And even though it's nice to have a treat, realistically, you have to think about, what are the health implications of what you're eating. Doing what you said, having plenty of fruit is a great idea. It's a great way to hydrate you, get all the kind of electrolytes and you kind of nutrients in. But yeah, spacing your kind of meals. And I think it's really a really good idea to have something light to open your fast with, and then having a proper meal later on. I think that's really an ideal thing, because when you cram right at the start, then you feel uncomfortable. You can't partake in the rest of the rituals, I guess you would take. And even if you're fasting for other reasons, it's not the best way to go about it.
What if you're looking to take up intermittent fasting? Maybe you're not Muslim, or maybe you are, and you're thinking outside of Ramadan. You've heard that it's something that is quite beneficial for your health, or can be beneficial for your health. What would be your suggestions in making sure that you are doing it correctly? Because if you're not eating or drinking, then of course I can only assume there could be health implications if you don't do it right.
Yeah, to be honest, you're not going to go that far wrong, because obviously, intermittent fasting is obviously where you're not eating, throughout the day, and then you have a set window in which you will consume the food. So again, same thing applies. Look at what you want to try and get in. Look at what your overall objectives are for intermittent fasting. There's lots of health benefits. One of the ones is that you're putting your body into a kind of an artificial type of stress almost, and your body then responds to that. There's obviously so many benefits to fasting. One of them is that self-discipline. And if you're disciplined enough to eat zero and consume zero throughout the day, then even on the days when you're not fasting, they should give you that motivation and that self belief that, you know what, I can do it. If it means that, I'm only able to eat foods which are healthy, then I can do it, right? So I think this is the biggest lesson that people can gain. Aside from all the physical benefits, and there's so many, from effects on your blood pressure, on controlling your blood glucose, to growth hormones, and even muscle gain, right? It's something you can actually improve on if you're by utilizing intermittent fasting. There's so much that you can gain physiologically, but also mentally, and as we know, spiritually as well. Fasting's always been used as a spiritual practice, and they tie together. I think a lot of people forget that the physical and the spiritual do tie together. They're not completely separate from each other. And if you overeat and you overindulge, effectively you class it as almost a spiritual deficiency, because it's a lack of control, lack of self-discipline. So there's a big crossover between the two.
What about hydration? How can you make sure that your body is getting enough water? Because I think that a very normal and natural reaction to when you might tell somebody that you're fasting is, I'm not eating anything all day. Okay, I'm not drinking anything either. And it's like, not even water? No, not even water. So how can you make sure that you are staying hydrated?
Well, first of all, a good source is not just to chuck loads of water down you as well, because if you're just having loads of water, then you can actually, you can cause yourself to become dehydrated as well, because you end up then losing that water, and that can, take away your electrolytes and things like that as well. So making sure that you're getting your foods not just from water, and you're having it through your foods. So fruit, vegetables, and getting plenty of those in will help balance you. So yeah, those are really the best types of tips. Technically, if you are utilizing the fasting and you're going to, let's say, calorie deficit, and you're breaking down fat, when you break down fat, you release water, right? So sometimes people say, oh, well, how come, if you're fasting, it can not be healthy that you're not having any water and things like that. And people come to these assumptions, but actually there's a lot of processes that go in your body, which, they can help your body lose weight and do things in that way as well.
What about exercise? Of course, that's a huge part of staying fit. What's the best way of maintaining your fitness level without exhausting yourself?
Well, my take on it is that, I see too many people who, well, while they're fasting, they decide that they're going to take everything easy, and, Mum, can you pass me this? Can you, everyone's doing everything for you, and I'm fasting, look after me type of thing. It's the wrong way to go about it, right? You are, if you're going to reduce down your calorie consumption, and you're going to reduce down your calorie, usage as well, then you're not really benefiting as much as you can. I think you should do what you would normally do. All right, you need to tailor it a little bit. Maybe don't go, overboard. But I think people should utilize and capitalize on physical activity while fasting, because there's so many benefits to it. And like I said, getting your body to regulate its sugar levels by releasing the glycogen stores and all the stores of sugar that you got in your body, because you've got loads of sugar stored up in your body. You can utilize that by you doing exercise and kind of, capitalizing on the physical benefits of fasting as well. So I don't think you should take it easy. You should pace yourself. Again, don't overdo it. If you were exercising before, then I think you should carry on to a certain degree. Maybe you can change your timings around. Maybe you can do it where you fast just before you exercise just before breaking the fast. I find actually I do sometimes I do like social media, Instagram lives and things like that, and when I do that, I'm dying just before. I'm like kind of out of energy. So what I do is I do a quick little HIIT workout before. It boosts my energy. It gets me kind of it just revitalizes you just before. So even a tip, not just about exercise, if you're finding the fast hard and you're feeling your energy's down, you can't do your work properly, fit in a little workout and watch that will deliver you a good dose of energy.
Final question for you, Rizwhan. You're over the halfway mark now. How has your Ramadan been?
Yeah, it's been good. I've been keeping myself busy. We're opening a new clinic at the moment in Bristol as well. So I've just been so busy kind of juggling those sorts of things. When your mind's occupied, then you don't think about your tummy. And I'm one of those, to be honest, I'm one of those people who I can, even outside of fasting, I can go all day and I've forgotten to eat because I've just been keeping myself busy. But yeah, obviously I think when you're sitting there looking at the clock, it doesn't help, does it?
No, of course. It's good that you're keeping busy, and thank you so much information there. I'm definitely going to have to listen back to all of that on BBC Sounds. Thank goodness we have BBC Sounds, because loads of information you've chucked at us, and really, really helpful stuff, Rizwhan. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Dr Rizwhan Suleman there, the founder of ICAHT Centre of Integrative Medicine.